So today let's start the session with storage options, and before that I just like to show you how the role base, I mean cross account role basis works, since that is pending in the last week. Shall I go ahead, or you have any questions, quick questions, anyone? Okay, so shall I start with the cross account role access? Sure. So those who have missed out the last class, I just want to know, tell you few things like, if we have two accounts, account A and account B. Let's say we have a production account and we have a development account, and the persons who are in the development account wants to get access in the production account. Those kind of use scenarios we can have cross account access. Now I can show you how to achieve it. So for that, I'm taking my personal account as well as my office account. So I'm considering my personal account as production account and my office account as my training account. So here is the way I'm going to do. This is my personal account, and here I'm going to create a role in the services. I will have to you go IAM. So here I'm going to create a new role. Let's say cross account role. Here I'm going to say the permission for that particular role. Since it is a cross account access, I'm going to say role for the cross account access and provide between access between AWS account you want. Here I'll have to give the account number, which is I have to take from my this account. Go to my account. I'm gonna copy the account number from here. Here you have to attach a policy, and there are two policies I can attach. One is administrator access, which will give access to almost every services except the billing service, and there's another service called power user. There is a difference between power user access as well as administrator access. In power user, you can able to access all the services except IAM. Means you can't create any IAM user from the power user. Whereas if you have access from the admin access, if you attach policy of administrator access, you can even create a new IAM user. So that's the only difference between power user and administrator access. So here I'm giving power user access, and I'm trying to create role. Now we got my cross account role. In the trust relationship, you can see it has a trusted entity with this account, right? So now I'm gonna say switch role. Power access and admin access. No, Mish. It is already available in the AWS managed policy itself. You don't need to create manually. There are two kind of policies available with AWS. One is AWS managed policies and inline policies. Inline policies is the one you have to create manually, whereas managed policies which is already available as a template. So here power user access and administrator access are already available. Okay. So I'm gonna say switch role. Here I have to give my source account, I mean my production account number. In my case it is I'm just copying the account number here. And the role name, if I'm right, it's a cross account. That's it. It says IAM access denied. Since it is a power user, I'm not able to access IAM. All other sites are able to access. So I'll go to S3. Yes, it's okay. So this is how you have to delegate access to another account from one account. So here you don't need to create any user. Only thing you'll have to create a role and you have to create trust relationship with that destination account. Any doubt in this, guys? Okay, that's great. Okay, let me go to the new topic today. And today we're gonna see about the storage options. So these are available storage options in AWS. S3. Yes, Mumesh, please go ahead. I'll just say I'll unmute you. Yeah, Umesh, please go ahead.
Harry, do we have to have, let's say, separate accounts for production and development, or we can manage within this
No,
one single account?
no. It is depends on the customer scenario. For most cases, we'll have separate account for production as well as development. The reason because normally
Okay.
in the development, what we'll do, we'll have a continuous integration for all the development tools and other things. So we don't need to collate with the same thing with the production account. So whatever testing is done and whatever is working fine in the development, the same thing we can implement in the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So for the best case,
And
we can also have separate account for both production and development.
for that case, let's say whatever files we have put in development, how we gonna migrate? Is there a migration tool we can use to push? Let's say,
No, there are few things you can do. In case of instance, you can create an AMI and you can transfer the AMI from one account to another. It can be a region, or in case of in case of any storage kind of thing, any tools or thing, you can put in the S3 and you can share the content from one account to next account. Anything
Okay.
anything coming inside to AWS is absolutely free.
Okay. So let's say when you said share, I'm not talking about sharing. I'm referring to uh, transferring the information,
Okay.
right? So let's say I have few files in development and I see that my development is working fine.
Okay.
So for that purpose, I want to move all my files to the production,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm going to that
Yeah. I got
how
it.
can we achieve that?
Yeah, I got your point. So for that, I can suggest. Have you heard about Jenkins?
Uh, Jen,
Jenkins?
Jenkins,
Yeah.
no.
No. Okay. So that is actually a continuous integration tool. It's just like an. You'll be much familiar with the GitHub and Bitbucket, right? This common repository.
Mm-hmm.
So just like same thing, there you have all you have to do. You have to push your codes and your application files in that server. Once you are satisfied with the changes, modify the changes, everything is done. You can save my production account number into that. Once you have finalized the changes, you can say push. That will be automatically pushed into the production account. I mean directly migrated to
Oh,
production account. There are so many open source
got.
tools that are available.
Okay, okay, okay. So can you send us some open source tools for these kind of so
Yeah,
that it is on record and
yeah,
if we need
yeah.
to refer it
Jenkins
later
is
on,
the
we
one
can.
which is most popularly used for that. It's a continuous integration tool, and yeah, I'll share you the tools in the chat itself.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Mish?
That is it for now.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, Kannan Kalasegaran, just a second, I'll unmute you. Yeah, please, Kannan. What's the question? Can you?
For the question is, if we have to consume a third-party service hosted in AWS,
Okay. Can you
it's in
specify?
another. Um, for example, Amazon's item search, it's an
Okay.
AWS service. So, will creating a group help?
Mm-hmm. No. Can you rephrase the question? I didn't get you.
Um, uh, let's say I'm building a service that in turn consumes the Amazon item search.
Okay.
So in that scenario,
Mm-hmm.
how will we be creating
There are,
help with the
yeah,
right
there is,
policy or?
no, you can create a role. There is an option to create a role with cross account access as well as a third party tool. If you want, I can show you again.
Okay.
Mm, so let's say I'm gonna create a new role again. So here you can see role for identity provider access. Context to web application providers and single sign-on and SML providers, or else here you can say provide access between the AWS account and third party AWS account. This is what you are asking?
Yes.
Okay. So here all you have to do, you will have to give your external ID. Once it is done, once it is validated with this SML certificate, you can good to go.
Uh-huh. Okay. So what about the identity provider access options? Can you please expand that?
Two ways you can achieve it, either from the federation services or
Okay.
from this there's a service called STS, simple token service, which will give you some temporary access for some amount of time, like say let's say 1 hour or 2 hours. So
Uh-huh.
you can use those services to get a temporary privileges. So use all the services. Once it is done, your access will be get expired.
Okay.
We'll see that
So
in
that's only for testing purposes to begin with.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Yes, Dopey Matthew. Yes, Matthew, you have any questions?
Harry, my question is like the same production. I think someone already asked the same
Yeah.
question, like the development and production user access, and how can we push all the whatever we did in the development environment, the production environment.
Yes. So normally
So
I would suggest you can go with this thing, Jenkins. So here I can, you can, let's say you are using GitHub as your coding repository, and all you have to do, you have to add a plugin called the GitHub plugin here in the Jenkins server. Once it is in, you will have to say and what production account you have to initiate this code. Once it is done, if once the code is validated, it will be automatically push the code in the production server, and the server will be up and ready.
So it will be migrating whatever we have in the development directly to the production. So
Yes.
is there any way, like for example, if I have 10 things and I just want to push only three steps, so how can I? So I don't want to push all the whatever we did in the development environment to the production. I just want a couple of items from
In
development
that
environment.
case, you can create some test cases in the Jenkins itself. I think Jenkins itself is a huge topic, and that is, I'm not sure I can cover it in here in the AWS. I'll see if in the last class I'll see some. I'll show you some useful tools how to utilize in the AWS. And in the Jenkins itself, you can say which one you should have to push to the production, which you can keep it in the development itself. There are even in the Jenkins itself, you can say one is production, one is staging, and one will be development. You can restrict
Okay.
items.
So we need separate account for all three, or we can use the same account for all three
Uh,
environments.
if it is a startup company and if you have only very limited funds, you can have only one account, and you can provide IAM users with limited privileges and with limited region. Let's say if you have 10 number of developers, you can say these developers should do all the testings only in that particular Virginia, North Virginia region. And if you have some few administrators and few other members, you can say those people will do all the testings and do their work in in Ireland region, something like that.
Okay. And one more like this S3 also free like EC2 like for 1 year, right?
In S3, you have 5 TB of storage every month. It is totally free.
How much? 5 GB.
Yeah, 5 TB.
So there is no limit like 1 year. So it's not a time period limit. It's
Every
a,
month, they will reset 5 TB of storage for you,
uh-huh.
but it won't be accumulated to the coming months. Like in 1 month, you will have to use 5 TB. If you are not using, it won't be accumulated to the next month. It will be reset again at 5 TB. So it
So
is
it's like per month I can use 5 GB.
5 TB. Yeah, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the PPT again. So we have the possible storage or S3 simple storage service, Glacier, Storage Gateway, EFS, and Snowball. So today I'm going to start with S3, which is simple storage service. Probably most of you people will be familiar with S3, I think so. And in time, I just want to know, have you guys got your presentation video? I mean the one which I'm recording every week. I heard like it already shared with you guys. Is that true? Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So if anyone haven't get it, just let me know. I'll send you right now. So first thing we're gonna see about S3. It is a secure, durable, and highly scalable cloud storage. And there are three types of storage classes available with S3. And one is S3 standard storage, and S3 standard with infrequent access, and Glacier. Glacier normally is for acute data. Like if you have huge amount of acute data which is not going to use in a frequent time, you can push it in the Glacier. But the thing is, place it's a scheduled one. It's kind of cron job, which will be running every 6 hours in a day. You can take the output in that every 6 hours. You can't take it immediately. That's the only drawback with PSA, but it's very low cost. We'll see how to configure everything. And the key features, it's designed for durability of 99.11 I mean, it's absolutely durability. And it supports SLA encryption. And it provides, of course, low latency and high throughput performance. And I would say S3, by default, S3 will provide some good performance with the static files and some moderate performance with the dynamic files. So these are the data securities available in S3. One is IAM, next thing is ACL, and third thing we can use bucket policies. IAM, I hope you guys are now familiar with IAM, how to create a user role, and for each user how to give you access. I mean S3 read-only access or S3 full access, list object. Similarly, you can fine-tune the permissions in the IAM. ACL is normally for the cross-account access. Let's say I have let's in S3 we have few terms, bucket and object. Whatever content you are putting inside S3, that is called object. Now to put objects in S3, you will have to create a bucket, right? So in AWS, let's say I have an object and I just want to share the object with another AWS account holder which is in another account. For that, I can create ACL. ACL is just like our infrastructure term, access control list. You can say I am going to read or write or execute, I mean download. And the bucket policies, here I can say what IAM user I am going to use this bucket and what are the permissions for that particular user. I'll show you how to create a bucket policy. Yeah. Okay. We'll see it now. Guys, and for the upcoming class, I plan to go with VPC. So, since it is a networking topic, I just want you guys to have a basic idea about it so that it will be easy for me to proceed it. I mean, consolidate it in just an hour because it's a vast topic. I'm afraid I can take it in just an hour. So I'll try to extend it until 1 to 1.5 hours. But before that, I want you guys to just have a look with VPC, how it works and what is the exact role in it. I mean, can you guys do that for me? Yes, no? Yeah, thank you. And also, if you have any suggestion with other, I mean, upcoming topics, please let me know. Yes, VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. That's the backbone of any EC2 instance and S3 for anything. All right. So here I'm going to create a bucket. A bucket is nothing but a folder which will have all the objects. S3 is just like our in Windows, how we are going to create a folder, same thing. I'm going to give a unique name for this bucket. AWS Training Test. If you want, you can select the region. Like if you want your object to be have low latency, you can select the region, or else you can say the default will be available in global. And if setup logging, if you enable setup logging, it will capture the logs like whoever access the bucket, it will create a log and it will be put in another bucket. Okay. So it's already available. I mean, someone has used this bucket name already. Okay, got it. Now this bucket, yeah, here it is. It is empty now. I can show you what are things we can do with this bucket. The permissions you could see it is available only for the 8K AWS training. I mean that is me. Here you can say for everyone, it will be open to everyone. Any authenticated AWS user, just like ACL, log delivery, which you have seen earlier, like created log buckets, and only for me, I can give that. So here you can see there's a thing called add bucket policy. This is what I'm gonna show you. So here we have to create a policy using AWS policy generator, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna create a S3 bucket policy. There are two ways you can set permissions. One is allow and init. And by default, I'm gonna say allow. And the principal is something for whom you're gonna create this principal for any particular IAM user or any particular account number. So here I'm gonna say this policy is for I'm gonna create policy only for me. So for that I need my IAM name. So here it is going to ask me like for which bucket I'm going to give this access. I'm gonna say it is for full all the buckets. If you want to give specific, like the one we have created already, you can give so for that thing. I'll go back to S3 again. So like here you can say ARN AWS S3 and follow by the bucket name and the key name. Key name is the one, like if you have any object you can mention the particular object. If there is no object you can say star. So I'm gonna copy this policy. Permissions and bucket policy. Save. It gave me some error. Also email resource. It's not allowing me to create this. I'm gonna say star. Okay. It is not allowing me to give the all resource. Maybe I'm not having such permission. So this is how we have to create a policy. Maybe I can come up with the permissions again. I'll get my administrator access at least for this training alone. No, I was sure. So let me check it again. Probably this is the permissions. I'm not supposed to create a permission, I think. No, I'm supposed to take this thing. This is my IAM credentials. For this particular account, this is my username. And I'm going to give this, for this particular resource only, I'm going to create a policy. So this one I'm supposed to take, but then I'm not sure why it is not taking. Can we try for the folder in the, just a second, I'll unmute you. Yes, please go ahead. What's that?
Hi Hari, I was just thinking maybe since it is complaining about the resource,
Yeah.
so I was thinking maybe in the resource field, if you try with the folder that we created this morning, maybe works.
So what do you want me to supposed to? I'm not I didn't get your point. Sorry.
Now, since it was like, you know, in the when we copied the JSON policy content,
Yeah.
since it was complaining about the resource,
Yeah.
I thought probably, you know, can we maybe trying with this folder, the one that we, no, I think that doesn't make sense.
No, this is
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
yeah. Actually, no. Actually, it worked for me earlier. Something I have made.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll have to look it maybe.
okay.
Yes. Yeah. So guys, this is how I have to create a policy. Somehow I have made some problem with the resource. So I'll check it again, and I'll give you exact policy in the coming class. So that is the thing with the bucket. And if you want to upload a content, it is very pretty damn simple. Like just upload, add your files. That's it, start upload. There is no restriction for the minimum size, but the maximum size will be 5 TB. Even you can upload 0 byte of data, but the maximum should be for any object is 5 TB. Right? But there is no limitation for the object in a bucket. You can have n number of objects, but the only thing, the maximum limitation of any object is 5 TB. I mean 5 terabyte. Apart from that, there's a way you can start your website, static website hosting from S3. Instead of putting the data in the EBS, I mean the web server, and have a data in the volumes, there is an option to create a web server one just from the S3. Yeah, it's 5 GB per month, is totally free for the new users. It is valid for an year. Matthew, actually, I'm afraid you're confusing with the 5 TB. I'm saying the object limit is 5 TB for any users, and for every new users, Amazon giving 5 TB of storage with free for every month in S3. What if you want to download a copy of this bucket? You mean a bucket or object? In this, let's say I'll unmute you. Yes, Umesh.
Harry,
Yeah.
so whatever objects we are saving, we are creating bucket for
Yes.
objects, right? So object are the content, file content what we have. So
Yeah.
for bucket, let's say I've created one bucket for production, one bucket for development, and one for staging, right?
Correct.
So I want to move the content of my production bucket to my staging or development bucket,
Okay.
right? Or I just want to download the content, the whole content, the content of my production bucket
Okay.
for on my local system. So how do we achieve all those?
Yeah, there are two ways you can do that. There are three ways you can do that. First thing here in the console, you can see here, right? Everyone. If I give everyone open and download, you'll get a link. Just a second, I'm going to give this save the link. Now if I copy the link location and I'm going to paste it in the chat history here. Just try this link. You're supposed to get the text file now.
But this is for one single text file, right? What if I want to download the whole folder?
I mean the whole bucket.
Yeah, whole bucket. Everything within that bucket.
Yeah, that
And
if
I have
you,
10. Okay.
uh, let's say if you want to download the entire content in the bucket, you can do in two ways. Like in the API call or in the CLIs, you will have to configure your credentials with the access key and secret key. Once it is done, the key is validated. You can straight away just ls bucket and you can download the content instantly.
Oh, okay.
Or you can automate it via a script also. Even Bash, PowerShell, everything will be work there.
So can you share that script when you get chance?
I have power. I have a Bash shell script. Uh, yeah, I can share with you maybe in the upcoming class.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it will be, I guess, better if you can share that script to us, through our emails as well. So
Yeah,
that
I wonder. Uh, have you got the training videos in the email or you got any link?
uh, I'm sorry. You know what?
And the training videos which I recorded in the last few weeks. Uh,
Yeah, I've got that.
yeah, how you got it? Is that from S3 link or you just sent they compressed somewhere and they just put in the link Dropbox something?
So I have not opened them yet, but I think Hema
Okay.
sent it to us.
Right. All right.
So
I'll do one thing. I have your all your mail ID so that I'll send you it in mail itself. Probably on
that
Monday.
would be helpful.
Yeah, I'll probably
Yeah.
on Monday I'll send it to you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Matthew, just a second. I'll unmute you. Yes, Matthew. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it was like the YouTube link. So when we click that link, we can see that videos in
Okay. Okay.
YouTube,
So
and we can download from YouTube also. So it
okay.
was pretty much very helpful.
The reason I am asking is like it will be valid for a week. I think so. So as soon as possible, please download it.
Yeah, I
Very-
already downloaded all 3 videos. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and Hari, I have a question. Like I was a bit confused with the bucket and folder.
Okay,
So what is the difference between the bucket and folder?
it's absolutely same. I mean, the AWS term they call it as a bucket. Bucket is actually a folder in where you are going to keep the files. Files in the
So
AWS.
for example, I can say like if I have like 100 files and lot of images, so all these files and images will come inside a bucket.
Yeah, these all files and images are called as objects, and the one where you keep all these files and images is called bucket.
And then, Harry, one more quick question regarding the same. So
Yeah,
let's say folder is bucket, right?
yeah.
And if in the bucket we create multiple folders, what do we refer to them as? Directory, folder, bucket?
No, can you replace again? Sorry, I didn't get you.
Okay, so we have one bucket, right? Now
Okay,
within that bucket we have multiple directories. So I have
no,
certain
not directory, multiple objects.
Okay, so no. I'm not talking about multiple objects. I'm talking about, let's say I have one directory or folder made specific for my uh, logos, right? I have one specific folder made for icons. I have one specific folder made for something else. And
Okay,
then I might have multiple objects also,
okay,
which are image. So
okay.
what do we refer them as?
So what will be your objective with this? I mean, where you want to expose this to world or what?
No, object will be, let's say I have a production site, right? And
Okay,
in my production site, I have a specific folder called data, right?
okay,
I'm telling you the real-time scenario. In
okay,
that data folder, we keep all our content. So I work for new home industry site, so we have a specific folder for all the builder logos. We have specific folder for all our community logos or homes logos.
got it, got it,
Then we have
got it.
community
Uh,
gallery,
yeah,
specific
got it.
folder for that.
Yeah, there is a thing called cloud distribution, CloudFront distribution. So normally what we suggest in earlier days, traditional days, we used web servers to display the contents in the website. In now we can say we can use S3 and the backend as S3 and front end we can see CloudFront distribution. In the CloudFront distribution, you can specify what thing should be come first. I mean the logo it should be reflected in this way and the images should be reflected in this way. You can specify those things in the CloudFront distribution. There is a service called CDN.
So are you gonna cover the CloudFront distribution as well?
Yeah, CDN. I won't cover you with the practical things. I can cover you what are things you can do with the service and how you can configure the service. That I can cover.
Okay, that will be helpful at least,
Yes, yes.
because see everyone
Even in
in
that service,
AWS.
you can say the region specific. Let's say you're gonna have content which is specific to the China region and have some content which is specific to UK region. You can do so.
Okay, but it is very actually crucial. CDN, every company uses CDN these
Yes,
days.
yes. I'll tell you how to configure things and how to use the service. But I'm afraid I can't configure a website in that service. I'll tell you how to do that. Maybe someone can try it out and will share the results in the upcoming classes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds fair.
yeah. Shall I go ahead? Yeah. Okay. So this thing logging, you know how to create a login, how to enable the logging. Uh, yes. I got a question from. Krishna Kumar, just a second, I'll unmute you. Yes, Mr. Krishna Kumar, please go ahead. Hello, Krishna Kumar, you are there? I think you have muted yourself.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, let's say I wanted to migrate all my file content into storage cloud. So is there any automatic way
Yeah,
which I
there is a
can do?
tool called Cloudberry.
I'm sorry, what is that?
Cloudberry. I'll ping here in the chat. There are so many paid tools available, but this is sorry, my spelling's bad here. It's as supposed Cloudberry. You can download.
Oh, okay.
You can download this tool. You can
Mm-hmm.
configure with this tool with the credentials. I mean, with it in the users you have a managed password. Under managed password you have access key. Just download that access key. You will get access key and
Mm-hmm.
just upload that access key and secret key in that tool. And from the desktop you can instantly upload all the content in the S3.
Oh, okay.
So you can do that. It's free only.
Oh, that's great. So we don't have to write any specific scripts, right? Like Unix script or.
It's already then there are two tools are available. I mean, web consoles are available. No need to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
This is Windows based or Mac. I mean, it's a Windows based. I believe it will be a support for Mac too, because I have for both for Windows and Linux. If it works for Linux, definitely yeah, it will be work for Mac too. I mean, it is there are so many tools are available, but in the market there are these are these are cost oriented. If it is so crucial to the business and you can go with it, but if you're going to do some testing, you can go with Cloudberry. It will be quite awesome. Like you can transfer 10 TB of data in just one night. Guys, can you hear me? Not Cloudberry Lab. I'll give you the link right now. Yes, Matthew, you are correct. That's from Cloudberry Explorer. So we have logging and we have events. So event notification is just from SNS. There is a service called the SNS, Simple Notification Service, which will trigger email as well as SMS. If something happened with this bucket or folder, it will give you some notification. If someone pushes a object in the bucket or someone deleted the object in the bucket, you will get immediate notification via SMS as well as email. For that, all you have to do, you have to create a SNS topic and you have to give your email ID, mobile number, everything, and it is chargeable based on the. I mean, there are some 10,000 requests, so it's free of a month. More than that, SNS notification you will get charged. And versioning, it will be very useful for the developers. Like you have some code and which is a version 1, version 2, and version 3. You can name it as. Lifecycle. Lifecycle is the one we have seen in the storage types. Like you're gonna use this folder for frequent or infrequent, or you are going to push it for the days here. Once you give the type of the storage, based on that you will get charged. In the cross-region replication, it will be replicated in the one or more regions. Since if I enable global, in order to enable this cross-region replication, if you are go to region specific, you have to do this cross-region replication. Is there any additional cost for versioning? No, there is no additional cost. The tags is just like EC2. We are going to put some tags for each of buckets. So based on the tags, you will get some billing details. So tags always mandatory, guys. So, and this thing they have recently introduced transfer acceleration. So let's say you're going to migrate your on-premise data to S3, and if you're feeling like your speed is not enough, you can raise a ticket in the AWS and they will increase the speed based on the charge, but it is chargeable. And also you will have to specify how much your speed is requiring and the bandwidth you are having, and the I mean the on-premise data centers bandwidth, everything, those details will have to share, and then AWS create a new tunnel for you, right? So these are the things available with S3, and we have to see about storage gateway and Glacier that we'll see in the upcoming classes. Any doubt till? Just say in Krishna Kumar, I'll unmute you. Yes, Krishna Kumar, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. This is just a general question, see, without cloud, let's say if I'm doing any development, it's just general, like I have Eclipse and I have my SVN or GitHub. So what I basically do is whenever I change my code, I, basically commit the changes into SVN, which will maintain versioning concept, right?
Yeah.
So do we have the same concept in cloud? I mean, I'm just trying to visualize, I have never worked on cloud development. I'm just trying to visualize how things will work on cloud.
For you, there are another service called code commit and code push.
Okay.
I mean, that is specifically for the developers.
Mm-hmm.
You can see automate code deployments and you can see code commit. So it's just like what other things you are doing with the SVN and GitHub. Same thing you can do versioning.
Okay.
Here in the S3, the term versioning is means, let's say I have a file, which is a bash script. In my term, I'm just trying to explain you. I have a bash script which will launch an instance. I'm going to say it's in version 1 script, and I'm going to modify the script which the instance should able to access S3 bucket. So I can call that script to version 2. Those things it is possible. So whenever you have any automation script, you can say directly you can call S3 location with version 2.
Mm-hmm.
So those
Okay.
that way I can configure S3 versioning. But the thing like how you have managing with the SVN, you can go with code commit and code deploy. This is specifically for you.
So that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yes, Anita, please go ahead.
Hi, Hari again. So when we commit code commit, let's say our storage is S3.
Okay.
So does this get reflected in the versioning that we talked about?
No. It is entirely different. S3 versioning is entirely different. Let's say I have some instance which will directly interact with the S3 through API or through CLI. That time this versioning will be very useful.
Okay.
So it is not directly, I mean the versioning term is not here interact with the code commit and code things. For those things you have to use code commit and code push, code deployment.
Okay. And another question, like since you mentioned there is no additional cost with enabling versioning.
Yeah.
But obviously, like when we enable, so that maintains all the versions.
Yes.
The storage.
Hmm.
So indirectly, like we are storing multiple versions of the same file.
That is what you can.
Using
Yeah,
more storage.
yeah, I got your question. So the thing is, there is a thing called storage class types. Earlier, as I told you, right?
Okay.
There are storage types: frequent access, infrequent access, and glacier. While you enable versioning, you should say how many days this versioning file should be remain in that frequently accessed file location, and then you can say once after 30 days, this file should move to infrequent access, and then after 60 days, it should move to glacier. Like this, you can configure.
Oh, I got it. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
And in terms of storage, the other questions, like when I was going through some other material, so I came to know that apart from what we mentioned today, there are additional storages, especially the database storages, the like DynamoDB and the SQL.
That was a little confusing. That is for entirely for database. Here we are discussing only about the objects and files and folders, which is raw files.
Okay, okay,
So for that we are using
okay.
S3 or gateway storage or Glacier or EBS volumes. Whereas if it is a database, yeah, we have 6 databases available in AWS. We'll see that in later classes.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And how about MFRL also? Instance store.
Instance store is just like EBS volume. Like instance store is a temporary ephemeral storage. I mean, it will be available till your instance is alive. Once the instance is stopped, your storage will be gone.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Hari.
Yeah. Thank you. So who is next now? Umesh. Just a second. Umesh. Matthew, you got any question for me?
Can I ask Hari?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Hari, like I was just was comparing like EC2, S3, and IAM. So what I understood, so I have some experience in Salesforce and Actron. I was just comparing with that Salesforce cloud. So there we have a admin area, there is a development area, there is a file storage area. So
Okay.
is it the same like EC2 for the code
No. No.
for
No.
the virtual machines? No.
No, I mean, let's say your data which is you're going to use in the code. I mean, let's say if it is a code and it will be used in any virtual machines, which will call that code and it will say some. It will validate that code. It will produce some output. Then you will have to keep that code in that high readable format. It should not be supposed in the S3. Rather, you can keep it in some instance. Under that instance, you can have some volume for that dedicated, which will have the high IOPS. I mean input output per second. For the time being, I'm going to do it. So let's say if your code is replicated in somewhere in the virtual server, better you can use for the volumes rather than S3, because S3 doesn't have much read support. It's for mostly for the write, and the read operation is a bit slow compared to the volumes since it's a raw data. So rather you can use EBS volume with the high input output like an IOPS, higher IOPS. You suggested.
Yeah, my question is like how these three are connected, like EC2, S3, and IAM.
EC2, S3, and IAM.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
So can you explain in like, so my base is like from .NET application development or Salesforce environment or Actron CMS environment. So can you compare with any of this environment, like,
okay.
so my,
Yeah, I'll compare as an infrastructure guy. Let's say
uh-huh.
you are an infrastructure guy in on premise. You're going to create new users for the whenever any new users are coming, you will have to create new users, right? For those things, you can use
Okay,
IAM. And once the
okay,
users coming, you are going to provide desktop and machines for them to test, create code and testing. For that, you can use
okay,
EC2, and for the storage,
EC2.
you can suggest S3.
Okay, okay, that's clear. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Umesh. Yes, Umesh.
So we were discussing about versioning, right? Does versioning in AWS, let's say code commit and code push, they are same like how we do regular versioning, and we have features like revert and merge and all those things too?
Yeah, that is a basic objective of the versioning. But here in yes,
Oh,
it is just like to differentiate the one another. That's the reason they are introducing versioning in the S3. Let's say you have plenty of files and which is having the script, and if you want to compare each files, then you can naming with the versioning numbers. That's it. So another important feature is like once you enable versioning, you can say how long, as I said earlier, how long you can this one file should be remaining in the S3, so that you can minimize the cost, storage cost. That is a
yeah,
purpose
but
we introduce a versioning the S3. Whereas it is for the one which you have asked, you can use code commit. There you have say which version should be pushing to the development and which code should be go to the production.
okay. And in that, like let's say I did some code push and code release, and something went bad, and I want to go back to my previous version,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So do do they have revert to the previous version like
Uh,
option or no?
uh, I'm not much familiar with that thing, but
Okay.
if I'm right, you can always have a S3 as a backup for that, and then from S3 you can call code as from the code commit. That you can do, so that you no need to worry about the previous code. It will be always remain in the S3.
Okay.
So rather than putting the
But
S3 to the code commit, you can have S3 as a backup, and from S3 you can direct to the code commit.
yeah, but let's say I want to go, I realized that the last two versions went bad, right?
Yeah,
And it has happened. It has
yeah,
happened to me in the real scenario where we pushed something and we realized after
got it,
2 weeks, oh, this is bad,
got it,
right?
got it.
So I had to
If you
take
want
the
to,
code
yeah,
backup. I did
if you want to automate that, you can do that. If you want to
but do
automate,
we get all the versions? No,
yes,
no, no. Do we get all the versions available and then can we revert back to the previous version uh, two
yeah,
weeks back, 3 weeks back?
there is there's a service called a cloud formation template. Normally, I'll use my terms as an example for you. There's a service called
Mhm.
CloudFormation template, and which will call a stack of AWS services. Let's say I'm gonna use EC2, IAM, S3, EBS, ELB, autoscaling, everything. For that, I'm gonna create a script and I'm gonna put a service in the CloudFormation template, and which will launch everything on behalf of me. So that for that, I have at least 10 versions. It will happen for me like if I launch an instance, I came to know like this instance is not belongs to this group, so I'll have to terminate that instance. I'll have to launch an instance with some other group. So for that, I can go with another version. I mean, like the one you said, like I have a 10 number of versions, so I can always come back. So that is always possible with AWS. You can do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Thanks.
yeah. Any other question, guys? Please think if anyone have any question. Let me. All right. So this is the thing. For the next classes, we're gonna see about the storage gateway and VPC. So before that, please have a look how VPC we can configure. What are the types of VPC and what are the key points will I have to discuss with VPC. If I forget something, please you can always have a question here and you can have a knife and you can ask. Indra, what if I need to remove something from history? You can simply remove. Yeah, you can delete it. It is not a big deal. I can show you right now. See, let's say I'm gonna delete the one I shared you earlier. AWS training test one. Yeah, this is the bucket. If I gonna delete this, I can simply do that. No big deal. Go to actions. and delete. That's it. Yeah, any other thing? Okay. So in VPC we have 4 types. VPC with public subnet and public and private, private and public and private with private with the hardware VPN access. So we'll see one by one in the upcoming class how we can configure one each another and what are the key points with other owner in each type. We'll see that and please come up with more questions. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Yes, yeah. What is that? Hello? Hello?